playing 10 years from now. I'm making decisions today, investments today, relationships today that will get me where my future vision and my future self wants to be.
3, 2, 1.
My whole purpose for this call is to give business owners like yourself, like myself, insight into the success, the failures, the day-to-day struggles, and the real-life examples of how I've won and lost over the last 12 years of growing my own businesses. It's my hope that you'll engage and ask real questions of myself and my team so that you can avoid the pitfalls, the roadblocks, and the struggles that I've overcome. I want to share with you what I'm doing in my businesses, plus the businesses that I help run across this country. I want to give you the insight that I've learned coaching clients in medical, real estate, accounting, and other professional services, and how we've helped them live the life of a visionary entrepreneur, scale their organizations, and leave a lasting legacy on this world.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the final phone call for 2022, Think Big. I've got Jared Breda right next to me here. We had an amazing conversation last week with actually one of the biggest competitors here in Southern Utah. I can't wait for Jared to tell this story. Everybody's been asking me what he was doing, what the plan was, and I can't wait for him to share what that looks like. Jared, you got to start us off with, why the heck would you sit down with your competitor? Everybody keeps asking me. Why? Jared's out of his mind. Why would you go to lunch with your competitor? Why would you share ideas, thoughts? What were you trying to get from it? What was the goal? Why were you there?
Look, I eat lunch every day. So sitting down and eating lunch, breaking bread with a friend, a brother, a relative, a competitor, none of that makes a difference to me, right? I think that's where great ideas, great collaboration, more treatments, better business, all kinds of positives could come out of it, and I just don't think there's any negative to come out of it.
Yeah, there wasn't any negative that came out of it. I think actually it was a ton of growth and a great conversation. You learned a little, they learned a ton. I want to start with, going into that lunch, the conversations we had before lunch. What were some of the objectives? What were some of the things that going to lunch, you've always taught me this, you should never eat lunch alone. And if you are going to go eat lunch with somebody, you should try to learn something or teach something to that other person. So what were some of the nuggets or objectives going into that for you?
Yeah, well, I think you have to go to something like that with an open ear, right? There's a reason they reached out at 11 o'clock at night. There's a reason they had a few, discovery calls with you. So I don't know if you want to give them a little bit of backside. What were they looking for? How did we end up at lunch? And then I'll dive into exactly what lunch entailed.
Yeah, absolutely. And these people, they obviously know that Jared runs a successful hearing clinic in the same area. They know Jared has a coaching consulting firm that he owns and operates, and they know that's successful. And so they actually reached out to him and said, hey, I think we're ready for some advice. And he said, go talk to Morgan first, let him deep dive, do some fact finding, and discover what some of the issues are. So we spoke twice, a few emails were exchanged, and we finally got a chance to set up lunch. And there was, some of those hot button issues that I think all business owners deal with, especially the audiologist or provider / business owners, of burnout, scarcity mindset, worried about the future, uncertainty, scaling the team, people problems, ongoing training issues. There was a few, but I think the accumulation of all those problems was mostly stress, burnout, and what's next, or what's our future.
Does that sound familiar? Isn't that
Absolutely.
what all of us, you, me, we've all been through as business owners, practice owners, audiology clinic owners? Their journey is no different than my journey, and I've been ahead of them on the journey, right? So we have a bigger practice. We have a couple more locations. We're doing more revenue. We've built systems and process and leadership teams. And yet at the same time, I have those private practice plateaus that I think everybody wants. You're probably watching right now because you want to know, what were those plateaus? How did you overcome them? What are some things to look out for? And I think that was just somebody, kind of respecting and saying, hey, we want to learn from you. Yeah. And so we ended up over at the country club. We had a great lunch. We had both partners here and a wife as well.
Yeah, it was an amazing lunch, and again, we're gonna get to what Jared learned from that lunch and what he taught at that lunch, because everyone keeps asking me, how could you coach your competitor? Every time they win, you lose. And I want your thoughts on that, Jared, and that mindset of when they win, you lose, and how many patients are in Southern Utah. But one of the things that came up first that I thought was really interesting at lunch was the vision for business, right? And their vision for their company versus Jared's vision for his company and what the future holds for Jared. And we saw a massive difference there. Huge difference between what their goals are, what they're shooting for, Jared's goals, the lack of goals maybe. And that really was the beginning point, as it is with a lot of coaching clients, of first you have to establish where we're going.
Well, and I think this applies to everybody, whether you've sat down with lunch with me, whether you're thinking about working with audit experts, whether you currently work with us in a coaching capacity. What they are looking for, now they've been in business for like 25, 28 years, right? I've been in this market for 12 years. So it's not like we're strangers to each other. I've actually been in their clinic, they've been in my clinic, there's been elements. And I think the biggest thing that I have to get back to is where the divergence of vision happens, right? And we've been very lucky in sharing with everybody that we think big, that we believe in abundance, that we believe there's 42 million people to treat, that we level people up, that we believe in growth, that the best days of audiology are ahead of us. And I think what I saw at that meeting was not everybody believes that way. And in fact, the difference between those of us that are exceeding and pushing through the private practice plateaus and the ones that are still struggling after 25, 28 years is what we envision for the future, what our 10-year goals are, what our North Star is.
Yeah. And how hard it is to have that mindset on a daily basis, but how hard is it to have the mindset of future focus, forward focus, the growth of the company, the abundance, when things are not good? That's like the hardest time to be, determined and forward focused on your goals, is when things are not good. So when you're in a state of burnout, when you don't know what your next hire looks like, when you don't know what your goals are for the next year, we're in a tricky time of year for a lot of people. So right at the end of their year, when they should be setting new goals, they are hearing Jared say about his 30 locations and how great he's doing. And here they are, right? There's really no reason for this, but they've been around longer than Jared. They have more locations than you. What are some of the other things that we realized we were there? They're
Degrees,
audiologists.
yeah. I mean, they have the credentials, they have the history, they have the community relationships.
Yeah.
There's just as much positives there, but they're not seeing the forest through the trees.
Amazing, yeah. And that was right out of the gate. It was apparent of that there was a lack of motivation, whether that's due to time, burnout, whatever it is. Determination to get through tough times. I would say that COVID probably hurt them way more than it hurt you. And then, like I said, the goal setting. What is next? And if you don't know what's next, your staff doesn't know what's next. And if your staff doesn't know what's next, your patients definitely don't know what's coming next for them. And now everybody is all disconnected from what you're trying to do as a business owner, which is provide more people with the treatment they need so you can grow and scale your business. And so truly, without a vision, I wanted to make that one very clear, is that when you don't have a vision as a business owner, no one else around you has a vision. It has to start with you.
Well, and we talk about that purpose a lot. I'm super excited. We're meeting with some great owners down in Mexico here in about 9 days, and we're going to dive deep on these leadership laws, right? How you actually set a great vision and share it with your team. And I mean, a lot of that came up. We gave away, 2 hours of free coaching at this lunch.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed, but there actually wasn't any paper or notes being taken.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is unfortunate, because there truly was some $1 million nuggets in there. Amazing coaching from Jared, and you learned a few things too. You want to mention a few of the things that you picked up on. Jared's great at meeting with people, whether, like you said, a competitor, a brother, an employee, a potential new employee, and saying, regardless of where this person is in their life, there might be something here that I can learn from them. Anything you picked up from the lunch?
Well, yeah. I mean, I picked up a lot. Before we get to what I picked up, though, I think the next concept for me was mindset, right? So there's a vision, but also this mindset of, they were coming to lunch almost like waving the white flag, right? They were saying, I don't know how you've done it, but I think it's this coaching program you offer. And our mindset is that we want to pay you for coaching. We want you to do for us what you've done for 94 locations across the country. And that's their mindset. But our mindset is knowing how much blood, sweat, tears, work and commitment to vision and execution that's going to take. So I would love to add another coaching client, another group to the community, but I didn't think my expectations of coaching and their expectations of coaching and what the result would be aligned with what they at least told you their goals were.
Yeah, the goals were, in contradiction to that. More freedom, less work, less stress, all around wanting to disconnect themselves with the business more and more. So to say, let's coach you, let's have Jared take you through marketing exercises, let's dive deep on what your strategies are in marketing, let's pull your ROI numbers, let's find out what your cost per leads are, cost per sale. That was the opposite of what they wanted. So in order for us to collect that fee for coaching and then have them do the opposite of what they really wanted would have been a poor investment on their part, and it wouldn't have worked from our side, because now you have a client that doesn't want the same thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think you said the magic word, right? Because investing generally means that you're putting something you've built over time, and then you're earning a return on that, right? Being coached means that you're ready to do more, train more, change behavior, elevate your leadership, change your belief. Like, you're going to fundamentally change who you are and what you've done for 28 years in the twilight of your career or in the twilight of your business.
Yeah, when you have the least energy.
Where what you said is freedom and autonomy and residual income and disconnecting from the business. Look, we've had owners that have disconnected and joined our movement. We've had owners that have sold out to us and turned it into residual income. And so like I said, those expectations didn't match. And so we left that lunch without a deal. And I think it's okay to leave a lunch like that. And yes, we left, $60,000 on the table, but I also maintained a relationship that I think will come back someday.
Absolutely, yeah. In the future, I think they now more than ever understand where Jared's coming from as a clinic owner, and there's actually way more alignment in the way that they have ran their business, which is successful, in the last 20-something odd years, and how Jared runs his clinic. So when or if the day comes that they do decide to, step away and they don't want it to go to a big box store, they have somebody that they know that they're aligned with because of a few simple lunches. Because there will be more in the future. We already agreed to that. We did agree on next steps, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the big takeaway for me is, why would I go to this lunch, is because of culture, right? Whether you like collaboration or whether you like community, what I'm looking for is a culture. And there's some great people that treat patients, that want to treat more patients. That is a culture that I want to be around. We might have different tactics or different approaches to doing that, but I think at the end of the day, helping more people is the alignment that is there.
Absolutely.
Now you got to work out the details. And I think that the saddest part for me at the lunch was when a business owner who has been successful is kind of waving that white flag, right? And the big takeaway for me is they basically said, we can't compete with you. We don't know how to win. We don't believe there's room for both of us to succeed. And we want to go do business in another state. Will you help us in another state?
Yeah. And the answer was yes, by the way. We absolutely will. But, in their current state of things, it just didn't make sense here in southern Utah to put in that amount of energy and time. Now, if they go on a new adventure, amazing. Yes, absolutely. There's an opportunity there. My big thing there is, first, of course, it feels good. I'm sure it feels good with the clinics being Jared's baby. When you hear somebody say that's right in your backyard, we know we can't compete, so all we can think to do is literally go to another state and start over. That has to make you feel good. That is a win. I mean, that's a business win through and through. The other thing that makes me feel even better than that is, and I think it's a testament to Jared's leadership, it's a testament to the person that he is, when you have a competitor that's right in your backyard who's willing to come to you and say that to you, and also say, I would like help still, is amazing. I mean, if you're on this phone call and you own a business and you're looking at your competitor as the enemy, I think you're missing a massive opportunity here that Jared's capitalizing on in being a good leader, a good business owner, a friend, a good member of society, a good friend to these people, is that when times have got tough for them, they've said, we have to make plans outside of Jared's reach so that we can go be successful, but they're also still at lunch with him, breaking bread and asking for help. And I think that's a testament to running a successful business and still having that emotional attachment to the humans that are in this world.
Yeah, and look, I mean, there's a way to succeed, and like I said, I absolutely love it. I know my team does amazing. I know we've had a lot of success. We've changed a lot of lives here. But at the end of the day, there are room. I do not treat every person with hearing loss or tinnitus in these markets. And there is room for my success and their success. And there is room that as they age out, right? We all exit. One way or another, we're going to exit our business. We're going to die. We're going to sell. We're going to move on. We're going to level up. You are going to exit your business. And so I would rather maintain that relationship for when the day and the time comes in the future, to figure out a way to help them with an exit that helps them achieve their goals better than coaching. And so for me, the one thing I would want to share, and I'm going to share with you all, is there's room for you to be successful and your competition to be successful. And I think that would be the one nugget that I tried to give them over and over again is, absolutely. You've made it 28 years. You've been successful. You're telling me that you can pay your bills and that you've lived a lifestyle that's, got your family to where it's at. Why don't you do more of that? Do more of the thing that is succeeding and less of the things that burn you out or frustrate you.
Yeah, the thing I learned, I just wanted to add was not comparing yourself, right? We see a lot of business owners say, but they're doing this, or Jared's over here, or here's where Jared is on the mountain, and here's how high I am. I need to climb a little bit faster. It leads to unhealthiness. It leads to burnout. When you're comparing yourself to other people, especially in an unhealthy competitive state, there's healthy competition and unhealthy competition. It puts you into a state of combat, right? The fight or flight kicks in, and you decide, now am I going to run away from my problems, or am I going to stand my ground and fight, rather than focusing on what makes you different. So don't compare yourself to the people, even if they are in your market. That's an unhealthy way to go about you setting your goals that are realistic for you.
Sure. Well, and every good solution has unintended consequences, right? So you might have a desire to teach or coach the next audiologist or the next student that comes in, but in order to do that enough to fill up your bucket and to be emotionally fulfilled, you might need 30 new offices to get that feeling. Well, do you really want 30 new offices, 60 new staff members, and 10 times the problems, right? So good solutions often create more new problems, and you have to be prepared for that. So I would really, the law of the North Star, if you don't know these laws, you want to be with us in Mexico. The leadership event that we're going to have down there is going to be phenomenal. Morgan's going to share his new book, the 7 Essential Laws of Leadership. And you're going to absolutely learn from that, and the idea of this North Star, the thing that keeps you kicking, the thing that you love doing, that fills your bucket, just like growing businesses, scaling businesses, helping other people, coaching them through marketing and science is where I love to live.
Yep, I love it.
Morgan, I want to talk because a lot of people come to you, just like this group, come to you and say, what's the next marketing piece, or what is it that what is the what, right? Not the why or the how, but what is the what? So can you tell us, what were some of those questions, or where's the disconnect between what we do to help business owners grow and scale and what they think we do?
Yeah, for the minute I've met Jared, the allure around Jared, what drags people to Jared has always been the word marketing. What marketing is he running? What's the ROI he's getting? What does the piece look like? Can he make a piece for me? It's always been marketing. And over the years, the people are getting smarter. They're starting to dive just one layer maybe deeper into Jared has these marketing systems in his office, and they're not really sure what the systems mean or what that is, but they know that he has these systems that are marketing for him. And that was the beginning of the conversation of what is Jared doing that's different than us, is this idea of marketing systems, and whatever that means to the people watching this video versus the reality of what is in your clinic is what is the marketing that Jared has.
Sure. And I just want everybody to go back to, first and foremost, I can't give you recommendations based upon the private practice plateaus that I've been through. I can't give you a prescription for your business until I understand your vision. What is your legacy, your vision, your goals? So we always start there. And then we work through the 4 pillars we have here at Auto Experts, which is the mindset that it takes, the culture that it takes, the actual science behind success, and then how to market it, right? How to promote it. Not just to promote it for new patients or new business, but to promote it so that your competition knows what you're doing, to promote it so that your team knows what you're doing, and to promote it so that more people want to join the movement behind what you're doing and who you're doing it with.
Yeah, absolutely. And people coming to us a lot of times and saying, I need new marketing. It's always something new, right? The shiny object. It's sort of like putting brand new, you're saying you need new tires for your car. right? But if we don't know what your car does, is it long distance, short distance, off-road terrain, freeway terrain, you can't make a good recommendation. And so before you get to that marketing layer and decide I need to do more marketing or I need to be like Jared and run his process and his systems, is you still have to know the science behind what you do as a business. You've got to have the culture, the mindset, and the vision for the company. You got to know where you're going.
And I want to bring it full circle, right? So people said, well, why did you go to this lunch,
Yep.
right? And I go to it because I'm playing 10 years from now, right? That was the ultimate reason that I'm going to lunch with other people in my market is I'm playing 10 years from now. I'm making decisions today, investments today, relationships today that will get me where my future vision and my future self wants to be. And there was nothing but a victory from going to that lunch, and where I left it was, let's go to lunch every month.
Absolutely. And the only thing I would tell you, if you're watching this video, even if you're new to business, the thing that you can avoid that these business owners probably should have done 4, 5, 10 years ago is start thinking about an exit. You do have to have a vision for your company, but if you allow yourself to get successful, you cross those statistics that all those small businesses that crash after 1 year and 3 years, you actually last 5, 6, 7 years on. They're 20 some odd years into their business now, and there's no plan for big exit, retirement, investment money. You have to start working with Jared. You can email me, Morgan@audexperts.com, because you've got to start working on your exit strategy. You've got to find out, do you want money long term? Do you want a big exit? Who do you want it to go to? Who's going to take on your legacy? And what happens when you're gone?
Yeah, your vision and your exit will determine your legacy, and it will determine the prescription that's required today to push through those private practice plateaus. We look forward to working with you in the future.